this is such an exciting area, graph RAG. So retrieval augmented generation RAG, probably a lot of a lot of our listeners out there are already familiar with the term, but it's this idea of being able to search over, well, so you start off by having, say, a large number of legal documents or Caterpillars. In Caterpillar, that's like it's not a tractor company. What do you call those
I would call it
machines?
heavy equipment because they do
Heavy
a
equipment.
lot. They do a lot of different equipment. Yeah,
If like like a lot of equipment with tracks on them.
hence the caterpillar, right?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes. Lots of legs, lots of points on the ground, I suppose.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, so whatever these use cases, you have lots of documents.
Mhm.
You start by converting all of those documents
Yeah.
into a vector representation, meaning a location in some high dimensional
Mhm.
space. So you can visually think about it like in a two-dimensional space or a three-dimensional space, but in practice, it might have hundreds or even thousands of dimensions,
Mhm.
and the documents end up closer together because the meaning in the documents is more
Mhm.
similar. And so LLMs have been great at figuring out that similarity and being able to get
Mhm.
related documents close to each other. And so once you have all those documents close to each other, you can use RAG, retrieval augmented generation, to say, have a user ask a question, and that question is then in real time very quickly turned into that same kind of vector representation, the same kind of
Mhm.
location in a high dimensional space. You can find related documents, you can pull them back, and then you can use an LLM to search over that
Mhm.
relatively small number of documents you pull back to generate some response to the user's query. So, I mean, you can correct or change anything that I just said about RAG, but I'd love to hear now how we can take that RAG idea and how it becomes graph RAG.
Yeah. So there are a number of reasons why RAG has. Some people feel like we're past the RAG moment. It's just things get hot, people get disappointed, and then they want to improve it. But there are several reasons why RAG has plateaued. I would say a little bit in its performance, and that's why people are bringing in Graph as well to help out with it. It doesn't replace; it augments RAG. Anyhow, what I don't know what the acronym of GRAG or who knows what it might be, but you've seen problems with RAG basically with things like uh, getting a plateau when your answers and your questions and answers don't align very well, especially semantically. And so you have this kind of meaning gap. So semantics just means meaning, but you have this meaning gap between what somebody's asking and the question, and the context isn't really well understood. So you see things like that. You see things like the ability to diversify the data you're pulling from. So RAG does really well with trying to extend what your retrieval is already doing. And so the retrieval effectiveness, pure semantic vector search can be insufficient. So you might get an approximate match rather than an exact match, or you might want a match that has topological significance that you're just not getting. You might also need to do multi-step reasoning. So if you think about agentic RAG, where you need larger context windows, or you need to pull in diverse data sets, or you need to look at the previous responses to come up with a better response. Graph can help with that in general because again, we're looking at relationships, and that gives us context, and we're able to pull in topology as well. And so I think of graph rag as rag gives us vector search gives us really good summarization. It gives us really good fuzzy matches. If you're doing a full text search, you can get some exact matches, but graph gives us structure as well. Again, it's that topology, and that gives us matches and answers of things like dependencies, serial. Things that might have serial dependencies, or you might have to do them in a sequence. It's also good at aggregations. especially if you're doing aggregations over multiple data sources and things like that. So I think of graph in the graph rag as rag and. It's like just you don't want to just have one type of augmented generation. You want to include those other capabilities. Graph lets us do that, and it also helps us stitch things together because of the connections it has as well.